The torrential rain outside the window, the wind roaring, the light and shadow inside the house swayed and creaked. Lin Yu's figure at the desk reading the papers was hit by the dim candle light on the wall behind him, like a ghost with teeth and claws. File 1, The Old Corpse of Xiaohe Village. There is a 53-year-old woman in Xiaohe Village. She is greedy for petty gains. She likes to use others to blackmail some petty gains. The villagers don't like to deal with her. One day her temperament changed drastically. She went to apologize everywhere, but no one wanted to reconcile with her. The old woman is getting desperate day by day, and on the 7th day she wails all night, disturbing the whole village. On the 8th day, the villagers found that the old woman was dead at home. Her face looked like a dead tree, and her whole body was shriveled. After an examination, the old woman's blood was lost and her internal organs were hollowed out, leaving only a skin and a skeleton, like a mummy that has been dead for thousands of years. Lin Yu closed the file in his hand, closed his eyes and thought. Light this volume, it is impossible to see what the key points of such incidents are. Thinking so, Lin Yu opened the second case file. File 2, The Thousand-Tongue Girl of Kawakami Village. There is a 20-year-old peasant woman in Heshang Village. She has a vigorous personality and a lack of virtue. She loves to talk about the length of the person. The villagers are afraid to avoid it. One day they suddenly threatened to kill all the people who evade her on weekdays. People took her words seriously. The peasant woman got more irritable every day, and on the 7th day she knocked on the door with a kitchen knife, scared that no one in the village dared to open the door overnight. On the 8th day, the villagers found that the peasant woman died by the dry well, with her tongue sticking out of her mouth and branching into 2 smaller tongues at the tip of the tongue. The meat blanket is usually on the body, which is extremely horrible and disgusting. After an investigation, the tongue of this peasant woman has branched out more than 1,000 small tongues. Lin Yu closed the file in his hand again, and raised his forehead in thought. Judging from the 2 case files, the deceased have 3 things in common. The first gender is female, the second is hateful people, and the third is the 7 days from abnormality to death. As for death, I can't find any similarities. Lin Yu's forehead oozes some drops of sweat. If you can't find the key point, I'm afraid. Wiped his sweat, he continued to open the 3rd case file. File 3, Giant Heart Man in Huangsha Village. There is a 31-year-old river worker in Huangsha Village. He has a bold personality and a righteous man. He is very helpful and has a reputation in the village. However, one day he suddenly asked the villagers he helped to come and thank everyone who came to the door. People must prepare 100 caddies of rice and noodles and 10 caddies of meat. Although the villagers visited in person as he said, no one could meet their requirements. I never imagined that He Gong would not just stop here, but intensify it. The demands were getting higher day by day. On the 7th day, every villager was even asked to donate all his property to him, which made the whole village hate him. On the 8th day, the villagers discovered that He Gong was violently killed by the river beach. His upper body was bulging like a ball, and his head and feet and limbs were hanging like granules on the flesh ball. After investigation, this phenomenon was because He Gong's heart became bigger inexplicably, protruding the body into a deformity. Lin Yu's hand holding the file began to tremble. Judging from the 3rd case file, the 2 common points found before have been overturned. He Gong is neither a woman nor a person who is hated. Only the 3rd point remains the same. But just knowing that the date of death is 7 days is meaningless, and it can't explain anything. Lin Yu doesn't think this will be the key point. But if you can't find the key point anymore, then... No, it's not right. Lin Yu swallowed hard, with a trembling voice, and muttered to himself, the 2nd point is still the same. They are all people who are hated. Although He Gong is kind at first, but behind after all, it is hated by others. Thinking of this, Lin Yu seemed to have grasped the life-saving straw, but immediately his breathing became extremely rapid. Okay, so cold, why is the back of the chair so cold? A pair of hands trembling like sieve chaff moved backwards tremblingly, and after a while, I realized that my clothes were soaked in cold sweat. Lin Yu didn't dare to look back, for fear of seeing something weird. He opened the fourth case file tremblingly, trying to calm himself down. File 4, Xiamen Village Compound-eyed girl quickly flipped through it, and then opened the fifth file. File 5, No leather male in Xiahu Village, the 6th. 7th. Soon, a total of 7 files have been read. Lin Yu's heart became more chaotic as he watched. He couldn't find a common key point in several cases. All things were the same, that is, all the victims died 7 days later. Death in 7 days? Die in 7 days. Today is the 7th day, Tick tick, I don't know what's going on, there is a ticking sound from time to time behind me, like some liquid dripping on the floor. House, the roof is leaking, is there a leak? No, how can the roof leak? The roof of my Lin mansion will never leak. Lin Yu did not dare to look back, not only did he dare not to, but he also closed his eyes tightly. What is the key to these cases? What are they? I can live if I find the key point, and I can live as long as I find the key point. The tick is getting closer and closer to him. Sudden. The air behind him became extremely cold, as if entering an ice cellar. At this moment, Lin Yu figured it out, and he finally knew the key point. The victims of these files are of different ages and genders, their personal preferences are not at all different, and the way they die is even more bizarre. Yu reading www.yuyugonshu.com. But the similarities are not only the 7 days, there is also a very crucial similarity. It's too late, it's too late. He, it's too late, if you can figure it out earlier, why is this? I think my young master of the Lin family will walk the birds in a cage on weekdays, so unhappy, how can I care about these messy things? But now, ha, it's late, everything is late. Lin Yu knows the key to survival is not to be nosy. 7 case files, each victim is a nosy person, so he will be found by evil. He is a man who has grown up in a honeypot since he was a child. He always knows how to enjoy the blessings, so how could it be possible to pay attention to the life and death of some poor villagers? But in the end, there was a plop. Lin Yu slipped weakly from the chair and fell to the ground. There is no breath, and I can't die again. Immediately afterwards, an extra eye suddenly appeared on his face, and one more after a breath. One by one, the face grows on the body if it doesn't grow apart. But suddenly, these eyes faded one after another, and returned to the original appearance of the skin. And his pale face, which had lost its color, slowly turned rosy again. Master, are you okay? There was a crisp questioning sound from the outer room, which was obviously agitated by the movement in the room. Master? Master! The man yelled twice and pushed the door open with a creak. Young master! A beautiful little maid walked in from the door. As soon as she entered the door, she saw Lin Yu lying silent on the ground. It's not good, the eldest master has an accident, the eldest master has an accident. Lin Yu had a strange dream. In the dream, he first hit the gym as usual, but when he returned home, he was hit by a runaway car and died on the spot. Until he opened his eyes and woke up, he realized that this was just a nightmare. It is probably due to the exhaustion of work during this period and the persistent exercise. No, this is not my bed. Looked at the ceiling blankly for a few seconds, Lin Yu suddenly reacted, his bed is not so luxurious, and there is no bed top. Turning his head again, he was even more shocked. The environment looked like a big family in a costume drama. What's the matter? What's the matter? Lin Yu suddenly sat up on the bed. Why is my body so weak? No, my hands. He just noticed that these hands are not his own, they are pale and weak and boneless, just like women's hands. Fuck, I won't become a woman, am I? Just as Lin Yu was in shock, there was a voice that was as clear and sweet as an aureole. "Master, are you awake?" Then, a beautiful girl in a light blue long skirt walked in from the outhouse and came to Lin Yu's bed. Lin Yu didn't care about who she was at this time, and said anxiously, "Where is the mirror? Do you have a mirror? Please give me a mirror." "Master, don't worry, Master, I will get it for you now." The girl turned around as she spoke, and as she turned around, a huge stream of information suddenly poured into Lin Yu's mind, making him suffer from a splitting headache. He couldn't help but lay down again. I don't know how long it took, and the information was finally accepted, and it became like his own memory. Only then did he know that he hadn't had a nightmare. The one on the earth was indeed dead, and now he was resurrected from the death of a person with the same name and surname. This feeling is very strange, Lin Yu doesn't know how to describe it. Although he has watched a lot of novels and movies in his previous life, he is very familiar with the concept of crossing rebirth. But when this kind of thing happened to me, it was hard to accept for a while. "Master, Master, are you okay?" "I'm okay, Warner, did you bring the mirror?" When said this, Lin Yu felt surprised. He didn't expect that the name of a stranger would be so natural when he said it. It seems that this is all the result of the fusion of memories. "I brought it here, look." Warner handed a uniquely crafted mercury mirror to Lin Yu. Lin Yu was stunned at once. "I am a man of Kongwu who works out every day," he turned into such a delicate boy. "This is really unacceptable." He had to comfort himself, at least the person in the mirror looked handsome, and he was less than 18 this year, and there was still room for growth. "Well, Warner, you go out first, I will lie down for a while." At this time, he just wanted to be alone, trying to accept the matter of transcendence and rebirth. "Master, you have to drink medicine first." "Don't drink it now, I'll talk later." Lin Yu doesn't want to drink any medicine at this time. "Master, the doctor told me that you have to drink the medicine first when you wake up, so you should drink a little first, okay? Just a few mouthfuls, okay?" Warner coaxed in a nice manner, her big eyes flickering, and her eyes were full of pleading. Lin Yu only noticed at this time that the beautiful girl in front of her was a bit too beautiful, her skin was snowy, and her eyebrows were picturesque. Is cute and sexy and pure and charming. This is going to be broadcast live on the earth in the previous life, and there must be at least one teacher to lick the dog. Of course, Lin Yu will not turn into a dog licking because the other person is pretty. He has long understood the truth that women are attracted by their own charm, not by licking. So the opponent's low posture that I see pity can't move him at all. But at this time, the memory of the original owner told him that if he had to refuse, Warner would inevitably be punished, and the bowl of medicine had to be drunk on time. "Hurt others and disadvantage yourself, why bother?" Then nodded and said, "Okay, I'll drink it now. I happen to have something to ask you." "Hey!" Warner was very happy, and gently moved Lin Yufu to sit on the head of the bed, and then went out to fetch a porcelain bowl. "Master, I will feed you now." Lin Yu frowned and swallowed the first spoonful of liquid medicine that Warner handed over, and immediately asked, "Warner, how did I die? No, how did I faint?" It is strange to say that although he completely integrates the memory of the original owner, the memory of his death is very vague. Only knows that the original owner is dead, but he doesn't know how he died. "Master, I don't know this." Warner shook her head gently. "I was guarding in the outbuilding and suddenly heard movement in the study. When I came in, I found you fainted on the ground." "Oh?" Lin Yu thoughtfully asked, "What did the doctor say?" "The doctor said that you were too frightened, and because of your physical weakness, you fainted, but he said that there is no major problem, as long as you make up your body." Warner scooped up another spoonful of the liquid medicine as she spoke, blew it gently and fed it into Lin Yu's mouth. "Is that right?" Lin Yu groaned to himself. But there is always a feeling in his subconscious that things are not that simple. He recalled desperately, trying to stitch together some broken pieces of memory to find out the cause of death of the original owner. Thinking about it, it really made him find a clue. By the way, Warner, where are the few case files in my study? Go and get me now, I want to look at them. He discovered that the cause of death of the original owner seemed to be related to those files. Who knows that as soon as he said this, Warner hesitated, and she was silent for a while before she explained softly, Master, those files were all thrown away by the master. Threw it? Why did he throw it? Because the master dislikes you and faints after reading those books, and dislikes you for being timid. Warner said softly, and then secretly glanced at the door with big eyes, and leaned closer and said in a low voice, Master, because of this. The matter is very angry with you. Mad at me. Lin Yu was taken aback, but soon found the answer from the memory of the original owner. The place where I live is called Zhouguo. In order to prevent internal strife and the dilution of family wealth, the big family here adopts the eldest son inheritance system. As the eldest son of the Lin family, the original owner is destined to inherit all of the Lin family's properties in the future. But unfortunately, due to the growing environment, the original owner has become an idle dad, and it is simply difficult to bear the heavy responsibility. The Lin family began to flourish from the generation of the original owner's grandfather Lin Zhensheng. When the original owner was young, the Lin family was in a period of rising career. Grandpa Lin Zhensheng and father Lin Chenjai were so busy with all kinds of affairs every day that they had no time to discipline the original owner. But the mother of the original owner only knows that she loves her son. So the original owner has not been very popular with his father. Yu reading www.yuyuganshu.com. Of course, it doesn't mean that Lin Chenjai doesn't like him. He simply hates iron but not steel. Master, the master also said that when you wake up, drink the medicine and eat your meal, you will go to see him alone. Warner reminded, and added, Madam wants to be with you by the bed, he will not allowed, I'm really angry this time. Let me go and see him? That's okay. It just so happens that I have something to discuss with him. Lin Yu directly took the porcelain bowl from Warner, drank the remaining liquid medicine in one gulp, and then asked her to arrange for someone to cook. I don't know what's going on. I feel very hungry after drinking this medicine. Maybe this medicine has the effect of invigorating the stomach and eliminating food. And his behavior surprised Warner. I always feel like my young master woke up like a new person. Before the change, he must be on the bed to hear the master angry. When the wife comes to coax him, he will accompany him to see the master. How can I promise to be so refreshing? After Warner left, Lin Yu sat in a daze. Although his behavior was very natural just now, and even the tone of his speech was exactly the same as that of the original owner, but in fact he has mixed feelings in his heart, and he has not fully accepted the fact of transcending rebirth. The relatives and friends of the past will never be seen again, and no one can stand it anymore. In fact, let alone this situation, even if you go to a new school or a new company, you have to have a period of psychological adjustment. It would be great if it was just a dream. Lin Yu sighed long. But the sigh has not yet subsided, but some strange characters suddenly appeared in front of him. These characters changed rapidly, and after almost 5 seconds, they finally became words that he could understand. Martial Arts, Nun Yuaneng, 100. Martial Arts? Yuaneng. This is a plugin such as a system or a modifier, right? Lin Yu is a modern person after all, and he usually reads a lot of online novels, so he went to the Association of Welfare for the first time, but he was not surprised. Also, the crossing rebirth has happened, and there is no surprise that there is a system. Compared with the former, this is much easier to accept. Look at what functions are there first. Taking advantage of Warner's time before returning, Lin Yu hurriedly studied. But unfortunately, no matter what he tried, there was no response. He shouted in his heart that the system did not respond, and tried to focus on those words and there was no change. It is estimated that it is related to martial arts, and it may be necessary to learn a martial arts or something for this thing to work. Lin Yu thought in his heart, this coincided with what he had just thought. Just now, he thought about going to his cheap father to discuss things, it was exactly the matter of martial arts. There is no way, this body is too weak. According to the memory of the original owner, this world has martial arts, and it is quite powerful. After learning it, it is easy to open a steel and even tear a tiger and a leopard. It is definitely not the weak martial arts of the previous life. Is at least the same level as in Jin Daxia's novels. Of course, Lin Yu is so eager to practice martial arts that is not the only reason, the other reason is that he always feels that something is threatening his safety. At this time, Warner led the people to bring the food. They were all freshly cooked, steaming, and very rich. Lin Yu couldn't help but move his index finger, and his stomach also made a grunt. Follow him, I'll eat before I'm full. Lin Yu has always been more open-minded in encounters, and now this situation cannot be changed by himself, so he simply takes one step at a time. Wow, wow! Under the weight of Warner, Lin Yu quickly swept away all the food in front of him. Warner was stunned. The young master has really changed. He used to be very picky eaters, and there is also a quirk. Any dish only needs a few chopsticks to destroy the beauty of the plate, and he will never move. Lin Yu naturally didn't know what the beautiful girl beside him was thinking. After eating and drinking, he was anxious to see the father of the original owner. Warner hurriedly got up and said, "Master, let me help you there." "Help me?" "No, I just fainted for a while, not a broken arm or a broken leg." Lin Yu waved his hand and refused to say, but in his heart he couldn't help but scold the original owner as a bastard, this is too spoiled. Okay, okay. Warner couldn't adapt to Lin Yu's change for a while, stuttering. "I'll go by myself, and you can rest in the house," Lin Yu said as he strode out. Outside the house. Although it had rained heavily for most of the night, the dark clouds in the sky still did not disperse, and the sparse sunlight scattered from the clouds, reflecting the ground black and white. Looking at this picture, Lin Yu frowned. Somehow, he always felt a strange atmosphere everywhere. Maybe it's the reason why I'm not used to this place just after I was born again. Stop thinking, Lin Yu strode towards his father's study. Although the Lin family is just a newcomer in Jianyang City, the scale of the mansion is not smaller than that of the family. It took a lot of time to walk this section of the road. Lin Chenjai outside the study. Lin Yu knocked on the door lightly and shouted, "Father! Enter!" A majestic voice came from inside the house, giving Lin Yu a familiar strangeness. After pushing the door and entering, Lin Yu immediately met a stern look. Lin Chenjai stared at Lin Yu silently, feeling a little relieved. My unsatisfactory son finally made a little progress, at least this time he didn't pretend to be sick and dared to come alone. However, his evaluation of Lin Yu just changed, and a voice turned it back. "Master, Yu has just recovered from a serious illness, so you should call him to talk, he is so weak now, in case." Lin Yu turned his head instinctively. It turned out that it was Ning Yulan, the mother of the original owner, who hurried over. It is estimated that she had just left the house with her front foot, and Warner told her the matter on the back foot. There is such a mother, it is really strange that the original owner is not spoiled, Lin Yu secretly shook his head. It doesn't matter if she comes, and later, if his father doesn't agree with his martial arts, he can just ask her to help intercede. Humph! Lin Chenjai snorted coldly and looked at Lin Yu. "I also said that you have grown a little bit longer than before, but you still have a hard time changing your nature. Why, do you think you came first, and your mother came later, even if you came alone?" "Master, you really came here alone this time. I was only worried about your body before I came over to take a look." Ning Yulan hurriedly explained to her son. After finishing 3 steps and taking 2 steps, she came to Lin Yu and carefully checked. "How bad a loving mother is, see for yourself, What's the use of your son? Watching some ghost stories can scare yourself away. Lin Chenjai kept shaking his head, really wondering how such an eldest son could inherit the Lin family's huge industry. Master, how can you say that to you? Ning Yulan guarded the calf eagerly, and immediately fought back. No matter how he is also your son. Your blood is bleeding on him. You always talk about him when you are young. It's useless. If he's really unpromising, you'll say it's useless. Her natal family power is not small, so she won't really be afraid of Lin Chenjai. Is this my fault? Lin Chenjai sighed. It doesn't matter, Yu is also 18 after the Chinese New Year. Hurry up and settle the marriage. You can't drag it anymore. Ning Yulan didn't object to this matter, so she didn't say much. Let's go back and make arrangements so that Warner will have the same room with him first. Familiar. Yu reading www.yuyuganshu.com. I will arrange the matchmaker here, get married early and give birth to a grandson earlier. Lin Chenjai has completely lost his heart to Lin Yu. Now he just wants to take advantage of the time when his father Lin Zhensheng is still alive and he is also strong, to train his eldest grandson to become a talent. Otherwise, the huge industry that has been saved with hard work will sooner or later be defeated by this unsatisfied son. Lin Yu also instantly understood the meaning of his father's words. Good fellow, you always used this to be the first number, and you want to start another one? How can this work? Father, I don't want to get married now. Lin Yu objected. Lin Chenjai was taken aback, staring at Lin Yu and said, It's your turn, you can't make this matter. Father, I know that I have been ignorant and incompetent for so many years, but that was because I was ignorant at the beginning. Now I want to understand, a manly man, you should do something earth-shattering, like you and Grandpa. Lin Yu's words were uttered. Lin Chenjai was shocked, and looked at his son in surprise. Ning Yulan immediately opened her eyes and smiled. Master, you see, I said that Yu is just young and ignorant. Now that he has grown up, he has the style of your old days. The difference between Lin Chenjai and Lin Chenjai is that her son has always been the best in her mind, he just didn't grow up. So she immediately accepted Lin Yu's statement and felt that he really thought so. Lin Chenjai is naturally half-believing, because he knows the truth that the country is easy to change, but the nature is hard to change. But since the son said so categorically, he should listen to his thoughts. Big career? Tell me, what is the big career in your mind? I want to practice martial arts. Martial arts? Lin Chenjai shook his head for a while. Can you bear the pain of martial arts? I can. Lin Yu said firmly. Lin Chenjai was quite surprised, how his own son seemed to have changed after he passed out for a while. Seeing that I no longer flinched as usual, I dared to speak out any thoughts in my heart. At least judging from the attitude shown in the words, it is totally different from before. Of course, Lin Chenjai would not easily believe Lin Yu's words, but although he did not believe it, his anger was relieved a lot. Thinking of this, Lin Chenjai's tone calmed down. It's late, you're past the age of laying the foundation, and no matter how hard you can endure, you won't have any achievements. If a blockbuster in martial arts is the big business you want, then I advise you to stop. Take your heart and find something else to do. Father, does age have such a big influence on martial arts? The original owner only knows about cages and bird walks all day long, and he has a little knowledge of martial arts. Therefore, Lin Yu can't find more information from the original owner's memory, so he can only ask his father for advice. Of course it's huge. When it was rare for his son to be concerned about business matters, Lin Chenjai felt much better, so he explained patiently. You are right. Martial arts is a serious way out. If you can get a martial arts name, you can really achieve a great cause. You can go to temples at the top, and you will be able to shade your children and grandchildren at the bottom. But the problem is that there are 10 people who can do it. Everyone has been carefully taught by a famous teacher since childhood. After years of hard work, they finally succeeded. At your current age, even if you have to practice, you can only learn some superficial moves. Even the moves are difficult to learn. In terms of martial arts, it's not a master. After listening to Lin Chenjai's words, Lin Yu was very interested. Asked again, "Father, what is the meaning of this influx? I heard that there seem to be third-rate warriors, second-rate warriors, and first-rate warriors." Lin Chenjai saw that Lin Yu was so eager to learn, he continued to explain, "This is the division of strength in martial arts, and it is related to the martial arts grade and the level reached by a person. I don't know the specific details. Anyway, as long as you know, the time has passed for you to go to martial arts again, and you can't make a name for it." Lin Chenjai still didn't forget to persuade Lin Yu to leave, not wanting him to waste more time on this road. Lin Yu naturally would not dispel his determination to practice martial arts just because of these few words. Not to mention that he is not used to this weak chicken body at all, he said that in order to study the inexplicable system, he has to learn a martial arts first. "Father, I have made up my mind. No matter what achievements I can achieve, I want to try it myself and ask my father to fulfill it." Lin Yu secretly glanced at his mother Ning Yulan as he spoke. Ning Yulan understood, and immediately helped intercede, "Master, Yuer has finally gotten a career he likes. Would you please let him try? What if my family Yuer is a martial arts genius, really trained is it? A genius in martial arts?" Lin Chenjai looked at Ning Yulan angrily, "Do you always understand the truth that clever women can't cook without rice? No matter how talented in martial arts, you must have martial arts to become talented. You think those superior martial arts learning is Chinese cabbage on the street? Buy it if you want." "Master, can't our Lin family still buy a martial arts book?" Ning Yulan asked in surprise. Lin Yu was psychologically prepared for this. When he first learned of martial arts in this world from the memory of the original owner, he realized that such things must be strictly controlled, so he wanted to discuss with Lin Chenjai. If Lin Chenjai disagrees with this matter, it would be really difficult to do. Most of the things that can be bought with money are inexperienced martial arts, which are full of errors and omissions. It is enough to learn some superficial moves. Who dares to really put a lot of effort into practicing? The superb martial arts created by a famous teacher can't be bought at all. Only by joining a large sect and passing through layers of screening can you be eligible to contact. Even if the outsiders are lucky enough to get it, they dare not practice it, and it will cause killing." After Lin Chenjai said something, Ning Yulan was speechless. She didn't know anything about the martial arts, and it was the first time she understood it today. "Father, even if it's a martial art that is not well developed, I am willing to give it a try and ask my father to complete it." Lin Yu pleaded earnestly. "What does the influential martial arts learn from him? Do you think it means simplicity?" Lin Chenjai said with a deep face, "If you have this time, you might as well continue to study and try to get a fame. Or just go to the home workshop. The city will do it first and get familiar with the next big and small affairs." "Father, I will give it a try. If it fails, I will let go immediately. From then on, I will study at ease and learn the family business." Lin Yu pleaded again, feeling a little anxious. Lin Chenjai shook his head, "No, I won't agree to this matter." After speaking, he patiently explained, "It's not because my father doesn't want to give you a chance to try, but martial arts is not as simple as you think. It takes 2 or 3 years to know if it will work. How many 3 years do you have to waste?" Ning Yulan followed and persuaded, "Good boy, it's up to your father. Our Lin family's big industry will be yours in the future. You don't need to rely on martial arts to get ahead, and there is no need to endure that kind of hardship." Both of them objected. Lin Yu was really anxious now. This really didn't give him a chance to practice martial arts. There is no way, he simply keeps on doing it, taking the posture of the original owner to act like a baby, and said to Ning Yulan, "Mother, the child grows up so big and never makes trouble for the family, that is, people are lazy. Reading www.yuyuganshu.com wants to learn something with peace of mind, why don't you agree? I don't know if it is because of the fusion of memory or something, but the words are so natural that they don't even feel embarrassed. Lin Yu couldn't help being surprised secretly. When Ning Yulan saw Lin Yu's posture, her heart instantly softened, and she turned to Lin Chenjai and said, Master, Yuer has been very good since she was a child and she will definitely practice well. You should let him give it a try. Lin Chenjai almost lost his breath. This kid's performance is also called good? That's how you feel all over the world. No, there is no need to talk about this, I will not agree. Lin Chenjai said in a deep voice. Lin Yu knew that his father spoke in such a tone, that was really no way, so he had to coquettishly say to Ning Yulan, Mother, if I can't practice martial arts and make a big business, I won't get married. I'm afraid of being looked down upon by then. According to the memory of the original owner, as long as she said so, Ning Yulan would definitely try her best to meet her requirements, and she would definitely get the martial arts books behind Lin Chenjai's back. Lin Yu felt that since he could not rely on his father, he could only rely on his mother. Anyway, martial arts must be practiced. As for his father's perception of himself, it can only be slowly changed by his performance in the future. It turned you back. Lin Chenjai went into flames without name, slapped the table, and shouted outside the door, Call the housekeeper. Soon, the butler of Lin Mansion hurried over. Lin Chenjai didn't even look at Lin Yu, and said directly to the housekeeper, From today on, the young master is not allowed to leave the door. No one except Warner is allowed to go in and see him. Yes, sir. The butler hurriedly bowed and responded. Lin Yu room. Although he was put in confinement, the matter of martial arts should be stable. Lin Yu thought so in his heart. If she went directly to her mother to intercede, she would definitely not agree to it easily, but now that such a bitter trick has been staged, there must be no problem. Because according to the memory of the original owner, Ning Yulan's mother is a bit irritable. Once he believes that his son is right on something and Lin Chenjai wants to oppose it, he will immediately develop a rebellious mentality. Is similar to the kind of mentality in which the whole world is antagonizing the person I love deeply, then I will fight the world to the end. The original owner used to persuade his mother to accomplish what he wanted to do every time. Lin Chenjai is almost helpless at this point, because Ning Yulan is not that kind of tough personality, but very gentle, giving Lin Chenjai the face of the head of the family. But the more this happened, the more erroneous Lin Chenjai was. Every time Ning Yulan got the job done inexplicably, he still had no reason to be angry. Lin Yu sighed secretly, his own mother knows the way of Pua, and controls her father to death. Young master. At this time, Warner walked in from the outer room and came to Lin Yu's bed and said, Madam, let me tell you, don't worry, she already knows where to get what you want. Good. Lin Yu was overjoyed. As expected, Ning Yulan couldn't see that her son was wronged, so she immediately went to think of a solution. And seeing Lin Yu happy, Warner also laughed sweetly. But shortly thereafter, a blush suddenly appeared on her pretty face, and she involuntarily lowered her head. After a meeting, she said in a soft voice like a mosquito, Young master, my wife said let me serve you at night and serve you to bed. She knew very well what it meant to serve the young master when she said that she meant to go to bed. The old mothers in those shy government offices had taught her hand in hand, and she knew that she would come sooner or later. It's just that the real thing has come, and she still feels ashamed instinctively. Lin Yu saw Warner's young daughter's attitude, and instantly understood what she meant. Just as my father would say, let Warner have with herself first, and the two of them should practice first, so as not to make jokes when they have with the bride. There is no way. There are no small movies in this world, and the social atmosphere is very conservative. Young people are ignorant about it, and someone will teach it before marriage. The Lin family has a lot of business, so naturally it will not just talk about it like a poor family, but will directly arrange for people to practice with real swords and guns. Lin Yu cursed secretly in his heart, who is he looking down on? Is this trivial thing worth teaching to myself? Have you never seen a pig run without eating pork? Really want to play and make sure that no one here understands better than myself. Lin Yu coughed, cleared his throat and said, Warner, don't listen to your madam about this. You are still young, so if you really want to do it, I'm afraid it hurts. Wait. Warner is only 15 this year. In Lin Yu's subconscious mind, this is not legal. So in order not to be a beast, he decided to hold back. Of course, the reason why he wanted to endure forbearance, there is another consideration related to martial arts. There is very little information about martial arts in the memory of the original owner. Lin Yu is not sure whether there is anything special about martial arts in this world, for example, what kind of boy's body can accelerate learning. Or as written in some novels, powerful exercises can only be practiced by the boy body. So just in case, you have to exercise restraint. But, Master, Warner is not young anymore, and there is no Warner to teach you, you will, then, in case. Madam will definitely blame me. Warner was extremely ashamed and blushed like an apple, but she didn't dare to disobey her madam's orders, so she had to try her courage and stammered to persuade. Warner, don't worry, it's up to me. Lin Yu is going crazy, you are so tempting to refuse to welcome you, okay, you are testing my endurance. Say it again, do you know me about this? Will you teach me or I will teach you? Hearing these harsh words, Warner glanced at Lin Yu secretly. After seeing the serious expression on his face, she knew that the young master really didn't want to, so she nodded gently and said, Okay, Warner, listen to the young master. Inexplicably, she felt a little relieved after saying these words. This incident has been revealed for the time being. Warner did not accompany Lin Yu to bed at night. After warming up the bed, she slept in the outhouse as usual. Lin Yu lay in the bed with a hint of girly fragrance, but couldn't sleep at all. One is because I miss my family and friends. It's a pity that they are dead in that world, even if they can go back now, they will definitely not recognize themselves. Is that the world is weird? The continent he is on is very large. According to the information in the memory of the original owner, it must be at least 10 times the size of the continent where he was in his previous life. However, such a large continent was occupied by a dynasty with the national name Dahu alone. The Zhou state where the Lin family is located is actually only a vassal state of the Dahu dynasty. There are nearly 200 vassal states like this in the Dahu dynasty. Their lord is called the monarch, and they all respect the emperor of the Dahu dynasty as the colored of the world. Here comes the problem. From the perspective of modern people, in such a big place, so many countries, and the emperor is far away from the mountains, every princely country and the imperial court should be in harmony with each other. But in fact, the emperor of the Dahu dynasty is firmly in control of each princely country. He has never heard of any princely country that dares to violate the imperial court, let alone dare to oppose the imperial court. This is obviously unreasonable. You must know that in this era, there are no mobile phones, let alone satellites, and the efficiency of relaying information through post stations is extremely low. Reading www.yuyuganshu.com. The emperor didn't even grasp the information of every princely country in time, and he was even more unresponsive when he commanded the army. How could he manage such a big dynasty? What's more, there are not only differences in languages between different princes, but also huge differences in cultural customs. This is the first weirdness. The second weirdness is that the status of martial artists in this world is not high, and there is no such thing as martial arts. This is also very puzzling. The martial arts of this world are not the weak martial arts of the previous earth. The fighting power of the martial artist who has learned something is amazing, and it is easy to get the first rank among 100,000 army. However, in the Dahu dynasty, civilian officials overwhelmed military officials. All major martial arts schools had to cooperate honestly with the court in order to survive. It stands to reason that in this world of backward productivity, a powerful warrior should be respected. As a result, ordinary civilians regard reading as the best way out. How did suppress martial arts by writing? From this, Lin Yu felt that this world was definitely not as simple as it seemed, and there must be some mysterious power secretly maintaining the existing order. Young Master. At this time, Warner's call suddenly came from outside the door. Lin Yu was agitated suddenly, secretly asking this little girl to come to seduce herself? This is too bad, it seems that God is about to take his own boy body. Master, are you still asleep? Warner asked gently. I didn't sleep, what's the matter? Lin Yu didn't dare to let Warner in, so he had to ask what was going on first. Madam got what you asked for. Warner said with her voice pressed hard. What? Lin Yu was overjoyed and continued, come in and show me. Warner walked in with a heavy package, closed the door, and opened the package on the table. Lin Yu looked at him, good fellow, it turned out to be a thick stack of books. Sure enough, my mother loves me the most, so I got so many martial arts all at once. Lin Yu counted, there are 7 books in total, judging from the title, each book is a martial arts book. Master, Madam said that these are inexperienced martial arts, and she doesn't know which one is better, let you see and think about it. Warner explained softly on the side. By the way, Madam also said that she would think of another way to see if she could get a superior martial arts. Well, Warner, don't go to sleep, and study these books with me. Due to the lack of learning and skill since childhood, Lin Yu did not recognize many of the rare words in these books. And Warner, as his personal maid, has been specially educated, read a book, and knows more words than he does. Warner nodded obediently, she was naturally what the young master said, very obedient. Look at this hate wind knife first. Lin Yu took out the martial arts book with the best name, and looked through it with Warner. After Zay took a closer look, Lin Yu began to feel itchy. He wanted to try it himself, so he asked, Warner, do you know where there are knives in the house? There are guards, Warner replied. Lin Yu slapped his head suddenly, why the original owner couldn't even remember this kind of thing. But thinking about it is relieved, the original owner is a person second only to the master and the wife, and has very little contact with other subordinates, so it is normal if you don't remember it in your heart. Warner, go and borrow the knife for me. Master, this can't work. There are rules in the mansion. The guard knife should not leave the body. One person manages one knife. You can't lend it to others. You can't borrow me. No. Warner explained, Master, if you want a knife, you can only tell the master, otherwise no one is allowed to bring weapons in the house except the guards trusted by the master. Go and tell him, it's strange that he will agree. Lin Yu murmured, how can I practice without a knife? Wouldn't I just get down with a stick? Warner saw Lin Yu's sad expression and thought for a while and reminded him softly, Master, the son of Aunt Wu usually likes to dance knives and guns, but there are some wooden swords. That kid. Lin Yu searched in his memory for a while, frowning, that kid is only 10 years old, isn't he playing with wooden swords and wooden swords too young? Forget it, you go get one of his wooden swords and wooden swords. Handle it. Okay. Wainer went out in response. Looking at her back, Lin Yu secretly sighed that his young master of Lin Mansion was miserable enough, and he had to grab his brother's toys to practice martial arts. After a while, Warner walked back with a wooden knife and a wooden sword. Lin Yu took a look, and he was relieved. These 2 toys are decent, not smaller than the real guy. Warner, you help me look at the graphs in the book to see if I am practicing right. After finishing speaking, Lin Yu picked up the wooden knife and walked to the open space of the room to start rehearsing his moves. With the help of Warner, he practiced and corrected at the same time. It took him almost an hour to learn about the moves in the book. Of course, it only has a few moves, not even a garage, let alone any combat effectiveness. Master, don't worry, Warner heard that it takes at least a year to get results in martial arts training. You have learned these movements so quickly, it is already very powerful. Warner looked at Lin Yu with a frown, and comforted her understandingly. I know. Lin Yu put down the wooden knife in his hand and sat back at the table. He loved fitness in his previous life, so he didn't know the principle of gradual progress. It's just that there is always a nervous mood in his heart. It seems that if he doesn't have the strength quickly, something bad will happen. If you want to go faster, you can't get faster. Lin Yu shook his head secretly, then with a thought, he exhaled the thing that might be a system. Martial arts, Hey-8 knife, incomplete, not getting started, plus, Yuaneng, 100 Hey, something has changed. There was nothing behind the martial arts, but now it shows the Hey-8 sword that hasn't started. Could it be said that as long as I learn a set of moves, it will be included in the system? Should be. Lin Yu became excited, his eyes focused on the and sign behind. This symbol is different from other characters, but it looks like a button. It seems that it can be pressed by the shape. Lin Yu clicked on the and sign with his mind. Suddenly, 3 options popped up, namely, enhancement, demonstration, and integration. Try to strengthen first. Thinking like this in his heart, Lin Yu clicked on the enhancement option again with his mind. The martial arts blast knife has flaws, errors and omissions, it cannot be strengthened. A line of prompt appeared in front of Lin Yu, only he could see it. Is there a defect? It seems that my mother was deceived and bought a broken copy. Lin Yuxin said, no wonder his mother got 7 martial arts so quickly, dare to be fooled by others using the waste as a treasure. Of course, she is not to blame for this. She doesn't know martial arts, so she can only do what others say. Try this deduced option again. Lin Yu guessed that this deduction function should be able to complete the deduction of the leftovers, so he pressed it down decisively. This behavior will consume 5 yuan energy and complete the martial arts blast knife. Yes/no 5-point vitality? Choose yes. At the same time that he chose yes, a message flooded Lin Yu's mind, and the hurrying knife moves he remembered immediately became more numerous, and some of the moves were slightly changed. It is estimated that they have been corrected. This time the head office will do it. Lin Yu tried the enhancement option again, and the prompt that popped up this time was different. This behavior will consume 1 point of vital energy and strengthen the martial arts Hey-8 knife to the next level. Yes/no yes. Lin Yu confirmed the location without hesitation. In an instant, an electric current flowed through his whole body, numbly and comfortably, and he couldn't help but groan. At the same time, the text before his eyes also changed. Martial arts, Hey-8 sword, beginner, plus, Yuaneng, 9-4. As the prompt said, the enhancement function is used to strengthen the level of the martial arts that has been learned, and the martial arts blast knife that has not yet learned has been strengthened to the entry level at this time. Master, what's wrong with you? Warner looked curiously. Lin Yu sat there in a daze, then smiled and angered on his face, and now he moaned inexplicably. Hey? It's okay, nothing, I'm just remembering those moves. Oh. Warner answered suspiciously. Warner, I will practice again now, and you can see if I am better than before. Okay. Lin Yu raised the wooden knife, jumped to the clearing, and smoothly rehearsed the whole set of hurrying knife moves. Warner was secretly surprised when she watched from the side. Although she has never practiced martial arts, she doesn't know how to judge a person's martial arts level, but one thing she knows is that the young master's movements are much more natural than before. How about Warner? Lin Yu asked with a smile on his face after finishing one set of practice. Master, you are amazing, much better than the first time. Hey, you reading www.yuyugonshu.com Wainer, Master, I have something more powerful, wait and see. After finishing speaking, Lin Yu called out the martial arts modifier again. Since this thing can modify martial arts, he simply calls it a martial arts modifier. Strengthen again. Lin Yu quickly clicked on it twice with his mind. This behavior will consume 2 points of vital energy and strengthen the martial arts Hey-8 knife to the next level. Yes/no hey, it's doubled. It seems that as the level increases, more and more energy will be consumed. Only 2 points of Yuan Neng can still be consumed by itself. After all, there are still 94 points left. Lin Yu clicked OK again. Martial arts, Hey-8 sword, Xiaocheng, plus, Yuaneng, 9-2. Just reinforce it and take a look to see to what extent it can be strengthened. Doing nothing and doing it endlessly, Lin Yu used his mind to manipulate it again. A moment later. Martial arts, Hey-8 sword, consummation, plus, Yuaneng, 8-5. After strengthening the Hey-8 knife to completion, the strengthening option button will be grayed out. Obviously it has been strengthened to the limit. From this, Lin Yu also understood one thing, that is, every time a level is strengthened, the energy consumed will be doubled on the basis of the beginning. It takes only 1 point to strengthen to entry, 2 points to strengthen to small achievement, 3 points to strengthen to great achievement, 4 points to strengthen to perfection, and a total of 10 points. Master, are you okay? Wanner asked softly. It took a long time for Lin Yu this time. Okay, I will. Lin Yu just got up and fell to the ground with a plop. Master? Master? What's wrong with you? Wanner suddenly panicked when Lin Yu fell down suddenly, and hurriedly stepped forward to help him. Lin Yu lay in Wanner's arms and said with a trembling, "It's okay, I'm okay, but I'm so hungry." Wanner, hurry up and arrange for people to do food, do more, and ask the pharmacy to make a lot of supplements. Tonic, I want to replenish my body. Master, don't worry, I will go now. Wanner helped Lin Yu up and lay on the bed, then turned around and went out. This modifier is a bit fierce, so be careful next time you use it. Lin Yu roughly guessed that the reason for his sudden general weakness was that he had acquired the skills of others for several years at once, which drained his body's energy and caused his body to go empty. Fortunately, this is just a low-level martial arts, and the skill is relatively shallow. If the superior martial arts is suddenly strengthened to such a high level, it is estimated to be killed on the spot. It seems that the next time you use it, you have to take it slowly. When you increase the level, let the body adjust to it. Lin Yu lay on the bed panting heavily, sweating all over, and simply closed his eyes and recharged. I don't know how long I waited, but Wanner finally brought the people to eat and drink. With her help, Lin Yu struggled to sit at the table, gobbled it up, like a starving ghost reborn. Master, eat slowly and stop choking. Wanner looked on the side with a horror, for fear that Lin Yu would accidentally lose her breath. It's okay, Wanner, with my current ability, it is not easy to be choked to death. Lin Yu found that after strengthening the Hate Wind knife to consummation, the physical fitness of the whole person has been greatly improved. Is not only more powerful than before, but also has a lot better control over the body. It is impossible to choke on a little food. After wiping out a whole table of food, Lin Yu directly held the pot full of medicinal soup and drank it, regardless of whether it would affect the absorption of the medicinal effect. After drinking it all, he leaned back on the chair and let out a long breath, touching his belly. Wanner, go to bed first, I'll go to bed slowly. Master, I will stay here to accompany you, I don't worry about you. Wanner, how dare to leave at this time? Lin Yu ate 4 or 5 people's meals alone, what if something happens after he leaves? Seeing Wanner with a worried expression, Lin Yu knew that she was afraid of her accident, so he smiled and said, okay, wait for me to rest and practice Hate Wind knife again, you see if I'm the perfect one, Master Wu's you genius. Young master. Wanner called out softly, trying to say something but couldn't say it, looking worried. Lin Yu smiled, then closed his eyes and rested. After eating this meal, my physical strength has already begun to recover quickly, but my body is still a little weak, and I probably need to take some tonic for a while to alleviate it. But this problem is not big. The Lin family has all kinds of supplements, but it takes some time to digest. Lin Yu secretly sighed, fortunately that he had passed through a rich second generation. If he was reborn in a poor family, he would have to find a way to make money. As expected, crossing is also a technical job. An hour later, Lin Yu felt that he was almost recovered, so he stood up and said, "Warner, take a good look at what real Kung Fu is." Lin Yu leaped like lightning to the empty space in the room with a stride, bringing a gust of wind. Warner was so frightened by this scene, she instinctively covered her small mouth. This kind of picture, even people who don't know anything about martial arts can see that Lin Yu's burst of power is absolutely comparable. Is the young master really a martial arts genius who is unique in martial arts? At this time, Lin Yu had already danced the wooden sword in his hand quickly, really like the name of this set of martial arts, as fast as a gust of wind. "Master, you are really amazing. I think the street performers are far inferior to you," Warner exclaimed sincerely. She watched Lin Yu turn from being clumsy at the beginning to the lightning fast now, completely shocked. Can't think of anyone in the world who has better martial arts talents than his own master. The heroic character in Mr. Storyteller's mouth seems to be nothing more than that. "Warner, how could I lie to you, your master? I am a genius without a teacher in this respect." After Lin Yu finished practicing, he laughed. "Of course, I cannot let others know that I have a modifier, so from now on I have to create an illusion that I am a martial arts genius, or I can't explain why I am progressing so fast." "Master, Warner doesn't believe you." Warner admires Master the most. Warner was very happy to see Lin Yusheng alive and well, not at all ill. It's a pity, this martial arts is just a stray martial arts. After being happy for a while, Lin Yu sighed with regret. "In the daytime, my father said that martial arts is of high quality, and his blast sword is just a low-level martial arts. Forget it, I will study the fusion option tomorrow, maybe there will be surprises." Early the next morning, Lin Chenjai's study. "Master." The housekeeper of Lin's house stood in front of Lin Chenjai respectfully with an old nanny. "Tell me what I heard in the listening room last night." Lin Chenjai looked at the woman who was over 50 years old. "Back to the master, the old servant last night." The old lady said what she had heard in Lin Yu's room last night according to her own guess. Yu reading www.yuyuganshu.com. Although she thinks something is wrong, because the movement last night was a bit too big. But after listening to the conversation between the two, it is true that Warner has been teaching the young master which action is wrong, where to correct it, and what is said to be fast or slow, plus some indescribable voices. It should only be possible to come. It's doing that. On the other side, Lin Chenjai frowned constantly. According to her statement, the two of them had an upset last night, meaning that their son could not do anything else, but he was talented for doing that? Forget it, at least this kid is functioning normally, not as weak as it seems on the surface. Lin Chenjai comforted himself in his heart, at least it would not be a problem for his own son to inherit the Lin family from generation to generation. At this time, the old lady reminded, "Master, young master, his bones seem to be a little weak." After the incident, he specially asked Warner to arrange a table to eat and drink a lot of tonics. "Okay." Lin Chenjai frowned. Just now he was glad that his son had no major problems. As a result, he had to add a meal to the amount of exercise. "Have to take tonics? Forget it, just let him go." Lin Chenjai turned to look at the steward and said, "From today, you can provide whatever supplements the young master wants. Aphrodisiac and tonic will satisfy him." "Yes, sir." The butler respectfully responded. Lin Chenjai nodded, and said, "Go to Wu's family to propose a marriage. Hurry up." and strive to finish the matter before the 60th birthday of the old lady. Yes. As soon as the housekeeper answered, he was interrupted by someone who suddenly came from outside. Master, master! The visitor panted and saluted at the door. Master, it's not good, something has happened in the salt field. 3 poles a day. Lin Yu finally got up. As soon as Wanner heard the movement on his side, she asked softly in the outbuilding, Master, are you awake? Okay. Wanner is here to help you get up. As she said, she pushed the door and walked in and came to Lin Yu's bed. Lin Yu sighed in his heart that the life of the eldest son of this big family was so corrupt, it was simply enjoyable. But he also knew from the bottom of his heart that this was because he had not yet taken the position of the head of the family. If he did, he would be busy every day. Wanner, did anything special happen today? He was banned, and the only way to understand the big and small news is through Wanner. Yes, something seems to have happened on the salt field, and the master personally went over to deal with it. Wanner said while helping Lin Yu dress. Do you know what it is? It's not easy to think about getting my father to dispatch himself. Have no idea. Wanner shook her head slightly. Okay. Lin Yu stopped asking. With his father's ability, he should be able to handle it well. It is useless to think about it, so it is better to hurry up and study the remaining martial arts. Wanner, like last night, I will continue to study those martial arts books after breakfast. Half an hour later. Lin Yu ate and drank enough, so he took out the remaining 6 martial arts books and spread them on the table. Master, don't you need to watch Hate Wind Knife again? Wanner still feels a little unbelievable. Did the young master really learn the martial arts completely in one night? This is much more efficient than his usual reading. He can't finish reading those books for a month. It is really hard for her to imagine that there can be such a big gap in the talents and learning of a person in different fields. Wanner, I have told you several times that I am a martial arts wizard without a single chance. I was born to be a martial artist. I was delayed by studying a few years ago. Lin Yu praised Hai Kao, trying to impress the impression of Wuxu genius in Wanner's mind. If you don't believe me, just watch it carefully. Today I can practice another martial arts to perfection. He had thought about it last night. The fusion function is most likely to merge 2 different martial arts into one. So he decided to choose another martial arts practice today. Anyway, to practice a broken martial arts from 0 to perfection, it only consumes 15 yuan energy, and his remaining 85 yuan energy is more than enough. Master, which martial arts do you practice today? Wait for me to see first. Lin Yu's eyes moved on the 6 books. After watching for a while, he involuntarily muttered, why there is no such thing as a sword. If you merge the 2 sword techniques into one, the power may increase a lot, but the martial arts that my mother has acquired are of different types, which is a bit troublesome. Forget it, choose any one, just this set of opening the palm. Picking up this palm technique, Lin Yu spit in his heart for a while. They are obviously inexperienced martial arts, but their names are so loud. Do you want to overwhelm your opponents with their names? Without thinking about it, Lin Yu started to study opening the palm with Wanner's help. This set of martial arts is obviously a bit more difficult than Haidest knife. After tossing back and forth for nearly 2 hours, Lin Yu learned all the moves. The name Open Mountain Palm finally appeared on the interface of the modifier. Martial Arts, Shifeng Sword, Consummation, plus, Kaishan Palm, Incomplete, Not Getting Started, plus, Yuaneng, 8-5 this time. You definitely can't reinforce it all at once, first reinforce 2 levels, and then come back when you adapt. Before pressing the button with his mind, Lin Yu secretly warned himself. A moment later. Under his operation, opening the palm has been successfully strengthened to Xiao Cheng. Hey, it's not that uncomfortable this time. Is it because I have the skill of Hate Wind Knife and my physical fitness has also improved? This is a good thing. In this case, as your body gets stronger, you can get full martial arts in the future. After eating some cakes to replenish her physical strength, Lin Yu couldn't wait to practice this martial arts in front of Wanner, and let her witness her learning speed. Wanner kept calling the young master so amazing. Then, Lin Yu fully strengthened the opening palm twice, and then began to try to merge two different sets of exercises. Fusion. Lin Yu muttered silently in his heart, and pressed on the fusion option. Is it based on the martial arts Hay-8 knife, integrated with other martial arts? Whether a line of prompt popped out, and Lin Yu chose yes. Then, another prompt popped up. After the operations were completed one by one, Yuan Neng was instantly deducted 10 points, and the text behind Wu Xiu changed accordingly. Wu Shuet, Feng Kai Shan Sword, Consummation, plus, Yuan Neng, 60 yes. After the fusion, it is directly at the consummation level, but I don't know how much power has increased compared to before. Lin Yu secretly guessed. Wanner saw that Lin Yu had been in a daze for a long time, and then asked gently, Master, is there anything wrong? No, I'm just wondering whether these two sets of martial arts moves can be integrated, integrate their advantages, and exert a stronger power. Hey? Can it still be like this? Wanner asked in surprise. Others may not be good, but I learn martial arts so fast, I always have to try it. Lin Yu said without blushing. After finishing speaking, he didn't wait for Wanner to react. Yu read www.yuyuganshu.com directly lifted the wooden knife to the open space in the room, and began to practice this martial arts after fusion. Hunting in the strong wind, the wooden knife pierced the air and made a creaking sound. Not to mention anything else, just by listening to this sound effect, you know that the power of this martial arts is much stronger than the two martial arts before the fusion. Wanner was stunned, but she didn't expect her young master to really have the ability to master her. This set of martial arts he is currently playing is obviously neither Hate Knife nor Kai Shan Zhang, but more like a new move that combines the advantages of the two. Although she doesn't know martial arts, such obvious changes can still be seen. After Lin Yu rehearsed hurrying wind knife completely, the sky had already started to darken. Said to Wanner, Wanner, go and arrange someone to prepare dinner. After eating, I will continue to learn the next martial arts. Hey? Master, you. Wanner didn't know what to say, things had completely exceeded her imagination. After dinner, Lin Yu kept on choosing a leg technique called whirlwind shadowless legs to start practicing. By the second shift, he strengthened this legwork to perfection. Let's take a look again, what will happen if you integrate this set of legs? Lin Yu pressed the fusion button again. 1 minute later. Martial arts, Luiying knife technique, first layer, plus, Yuaneng, 3-5. The name of the martial arts after fusion is Luiying sword technique, but unlike the previous ones, the remarks of Luiying sword technique write the first level, not the level of consummation. It means there are several levels in this martial arts, I only learned the first level now. Lin Yu guessed, and then clicked the and sign with his mind. After pressing the and sign, it really strengthened that option to be able to be pressed. Lin Yu clicked on the strengthen button. This behavior will consume 20 yuan energy and strengthen the martial arts Luiying sword technique to the next level. Yes/no. Does this cost 20 yuan? Lin Yu hesitated, this matter must be calculated. To strengthen an incomplete wushu from 0 basic to perfection, a total of 15 points of vitality, while the level of the Luiying knife technique requires 20 points of vitality. Does it mean that the latter gains more than the former? More skill. Then what level of martial arts is this Luiying sword technique? It shouldn't be an inexperienced martial arts, right? It's a pity that I don't know much about martial arts, and I can't judge the rank of Luiying sword technique at all. Hey, if there is a martial artist who can practice with me, it would be great, or ask some famous teacher to help. Lin Yu frowned and thought. But one thing that is certain now is that my martial arts must be unique, and it must be different from the martial arts of the big sects, and it will not cause death. After all, this is something that has been modified with a modifier, which is unique. Forget it, the remaining yuan can be used to strengthen an inexperienced martial arts school, which has no meaning, so let's use it to improve the skill of the Luiying sword technique. Lin Yu stopped hesitating and chose yes. Martial arts, Luiying sword technique, second layer, plus, Yuaneng, 1-5 suddenly, the feeling reappeared last night, his body seemed to be hollowed out, and his hunger made his eyes stare at Venus. Lin Yu hurriedly held the table, shaking with sweat and said, "Wanner, hurry up, I can't do it anymore, go find someone to cook and make medicine." "Hey? Master, yes, I will go now." Wanner saw that Lin Yu suddenly became like this with good grace, and was immediately distraught. After confirming that he was just hungry, she helped him to bed and hurriedly turned and went out. Bed. Although Lin Yu was hungry and weak, he was very happy in his heart. "I didn't expect that with my current body, one level of power would be so vain. It seems that this Luiying sword technique is not simple. This is a good thing." Not long after, Wanner brought the food and boiled tonics in a hurry with people. The efficiency was much higher than yesterday, and it was obviously prepared. Lin Yu sat back at the table, gobbled it up, thinking about something in his heart. The modifier depends entirely on Yuan Neng to work, but where does the Yuan Neng come from? Why can't I have 100 Yuan energy just after I get the modifier after rebirth? Will the original owner save it somehow? Or is it just a novice benefit? After guessing for a while, Lin Yu asked in his heart, "System? Modifier boss? Hanging? How on earth did this energy come from? Can you give me a hint?" After asked, his attention was focused on the words in front of him. After waiting for a long time, there was no prompt. "It seems that I can only find it on my own." In the following days, because there was no Yuan Neng and the door could not go out, Lin Yu became idle, and she simply asked Wanner to find books such as local chronicles and history books in the mansion to read. Then he took time to learn about the major industries, business methods, etc. under the name of the Lin family. With this change, Lin Chenjai was so relieved that he thought that his son had compromised, so he lifted his ban. "The old man is so cruel, I have been shut down for 10 days. The moment Lin Yu stepped out of the room, he realized that 10 days had passed without knowing it. "Fortunately, I haven't been idle for these 10 days, and I have gained a lot. Not only I have a deeper understanding of the world, but my body is much stronger than before. I don't know the reason for learning martial arts, or for tonic every day, my body is getting stronger day by day, and even his head is longer and heavier than before." At that station, the momentum alone can calm a group of people. Lin Yu is very satisfied with his changes. To really let him live with the weak body of the original owner, it would be an indescribable suffering. "Wanner, go shopping in the street." "Yes, master." Since coming to this world, Lin Yu hasn't made a step outside the Lin mansion, so he can't wait to go outside and take a look. The two left the house and went straight to the gate of Lin mansion. But before taking a few steps, a young man in a cyan gown appeared not far away, as if he had been waiting there long ago. After he saw Lin Yu, he was taken aback first, then turned to look at Wanner, as if he was sure of something. He immediately walked over here with a smile on his face. After approached, he bowed and said, "Master, Xiao Shan wants to kill you." Lin Yu also recalled this person at this time. This person's name is Lin Shan, his half-brother, born in the same year and the same month as himself. It's a pity that a son is expensive by his mother. His mother is just a servant in the Lin family and has no status, so his status is a little higher than that of the servants in the mansion, far inferior to himself, the young master of the Lin family. But this kid has been very clever since he was a child. He is very good at acting with winks, well-informed, quick-handed, and he can keep his mouth in check, so he was taken early by the original owner as a dog-legged and book boy. Can be regarded as holding his thighs firmly. "It's just right, Koyama, go outside with me. This kid is very familiar with Jianyang City. You read www.ukainshu.com and he has a proper know-how, so it's okay to bring him. Yes, master. Lin Shan respectfully led his orders. The three of them went all the way to the layman. There was already a carriage waiting outside the gate. When the coachman saw Lin Yu and his party come out, he hurriedly opened the door. After sitting down in the carriage, Lin Yu suddenly remembered something. Looked at Lin Shan and asked, Shan, the last time I asked you to collect the files, do you still have a copy of it? Although his memory is imperfect, Lin Yu always feels that those files seem to be very important. If you don't take a look at it with your own eyes, it's as if you are in your throat. It happened that Lin Shan had done that, so I just asked him. Master, don't mention it anymore. Master almost broke my legs because of this. How dare I keep them? Lin Shan begged for mercy miserably. Okay, I see. Lin Yu sighed helplessly. At this time, the carriage moved and drove towards the busiest and lively neighborhood of Jianyang City. Many of Lin's properties are located in those places, so Lin Yu wanted to check it out in shops of all sizes. After all, these will have to be handled by oneself sooner or later, and you can't be like the original owner, knowing nothing about the property that will be inherited. At this time, Lin Yu has somewhat accepted the current fate. When you come, you will be at ease, and it is not bad to be a rich man honestly. It's better to be a social animal in your last life. The carriage approached the destination very quickly, and the outside of the carriage became more and more crowded, with constant shouting. Lin Shan looked out the window, and took the initiative to help Lin Yu explore the wind. Young master. He suddenly turned his head and said to Lin Yu with a smile on his face, your future brother-in-law is right in front. Would you like to meet him? The future brother-in-law. Lin Shan's words immediately aroused Lin Yu's curiosity, and he hurriedly looked out the window. There was a young man in brocade clothes on the street in front, walking along the street with a maid and two servants. It was him who wanted to come to Lin Shan. Speaking of it, he still knows this person, his name is Wu Zhenchu, the eldest son of the Wu family. The strength of the Wu family is not bad from the Lin family, but the main business is different, so the original owner and Wu Zhenchu are also in the same circle. But there is no friendship between the two people, they just know that there is such a person in the circle. At this time, Lin Shan came over and explained, Master, the marriage partner of our Lin family is the Chengdong Wu family. Is that so? Okay, it's good to meet him. Marriage in this world is the words of a matchmaker ordered by parents. If you oppose it, you will be regarded as a treason and rejected by the entire society. So Lin Yu has no good way to do this, only his father said that he would marry whoever he wanted to marry. It is a good idea to get to know the other party in advance when the status quo cannot be changed. Stop! Seeing that Lin Yu agreed to this suggestion, Lin Shan hurriedly shouted to the coachman. The three got out of the carriage and walked towards Wu Zhenchu and his group. At this time, Wu Zhenchu also noticed the Lin mansion carriage that stopped suddenly, looking instinctively, his eyes were full of surprise. Brother Zhenchu, happy meeting. Lin Yuchao Wu Zhenchu arched his hands. Neither of them has reached the year of the crown, and there is no word, so they just call their names. Are you, brother Yu? Wu Zhenchu was a little afraid to confirm Lin Yu's identity. It's under. Hiss, I really don't want to look at you for 3 days, I remember when I saw you last time, I was a little shorter than me. Wu Zhenchu looked at Lin Yu up and down, and shook his head slightly, a little bit unbelievable. Brother Zhenchu, don't be surprised. I had a heart palpitations some time ago. The doctor prescribed some medicine after the pulse. In addition, I took some big tonics, which made me grow taller inexplicably. Lin Yu explained without blushing and heartbeat. Wu Zhenchu was amazed when he heard this statement, and then asked, Brother Yu, what big tonic have you taken? Tell me the prescription, and I will try it later. As he said, he approached Lin Yu in twos, and asked softly, "Brother Yu, have your following words become bigger with them?" Lin Yu saw his serious appearance, not like joking, and said with a smile, "I will turn around and ask Warner to copy a copy of the prescription for you. As for the effect, you can try it yourself." "Ha ha ha, okay, then I really want to give it a try." Wu Zhenqiu laughed. "Let's go, brother Zhenqiu, sit in my store, I'll treat you." Lin Yu looked at the Beifang restaurant across the street and suggested. "You're welcome, then." Wu Zhenqiu laughed, and then the group walked towards the restaurant. After entering the restaurant's private room, Lin Yu and Wu Zhenqiu took their seats, while Warner and others stood not far away. Pushing the cup and changing the time, the two chatted about trivial matters, and explored each other's bottom. Lin Yu wanted to know what his future wife might be like, while Wu Zhenqiu was eager to know how Lin Yu felt after taking the medicine. But just chatting, I don't know where the topic is going. Lin Yu increasingly felt that talking to Wu Zhenqiu was not speculative, the two people's interests were too far apart, and there was not much in common, and the conversation became more and more awkward. Wu Zhenqiu also felt that the chat was boring this day, so he cleared his throat and said, "Brother Yu, those things are nothing to talk about, let's talk about Fenjiu." He doesn't believe it anymore, there is still no common language in the affairs of men and women. "I have very little knowledge in this aspect, please enlighten me from brother Zhenqiu." The original owner of is not the one who is intrigued by the flowers, everyone in this circle knows, so Lin Yu naturally can't act like an old driver. "Well, he. Wu Zhenqiu leaned against Lin Yu with a lewd smile, and said in a low voice, "There is nothing to teach you, you have to try it yourself. To tell the truth, my little maid was well trained by me, 18. Martial arts are proficient in everything, and you will know everything if you let you play for 2 days." Lin Yu felt like a chill. As a modern person, how could he accept this kind of values that don't treat the bottom people as human beings? You need to know that he was an ordinary social animal 10 days ago, and he didn't change his identity so quickly. "Brother Zhenqiu, this should be avoided." Lin Yu declined. "Hey, what's so shy about this?" Wu Zhenqiu shook his head again and again, then glanced at Warner not far away, and suggested, "Brother Yu, your little maid has already been picked by you? Or else, you let her play with me for 2 days, and I promise to help you tune it up and down, and you will feel the changes in it again." Everyone said that Wu Zhenqiu was lustful, and it was true at first sight today. Lin Yu understands, it seems that this guy has long been attracted to Warner, and only then offered to talk about Fenjiu. Also, Warner is considered very beautiful among the maids, and her temperament can even be compared to the family eldest lady. It is strange that Wu Zhenqiu does not give birth to a wicked heart. "Forget it, brother Zhenqiu, I am not interested in these things at first, so I don't bother you anymore. It's fine for now." Lin Yu really wanted to draw a big ear to shave himself at this time. He just pretended to be humble and asked him to teach him. Doesn't he have an excuse? "Hey, brother Yu, there is no such thing as a bad man, so don't refuse, this busy brother will help." Wu Zhenqiu refused to give up and continued to persuade him. Lin Yu was annoyed by him, so he had to find an excuse to say, "Brother Zhenqiu, it's not a lie. Today, my father asked me to come out to familiarize myself with the business of the next home, and there are business affairs to be done. Let's talk next time." "Oh? Father's order cannot be violated. Since brother Yu said so, let's do it today, and you will consider your brother's proposal when you look back." Wu Zhenqiu said without giving up. "Let's talk about this when you have time." Yu reading www.yuyuganshu.com. Zhenqiu brother, I'll be busy with business now. Lin Yu issued the eviction order, and then added, "By the way, I will let Warner copy the prescription. Then let Xiao Shan send it to you." How can he dare to let Warner come into contact with this guy at this time? Wu Zhenqiu heard the meaning of Lin Yu's words. After a moment, he arched his hands with a smile, and then took the people out of the private room and went to have fun elsewhere. As he walked away, Lin Yu's heart became more and more upset. Unexpectedly, the first day of contact with the future eldest brother-in-law, it would cause a commotion. If you become relatives with him in the future, I am afraid that the female relatives around you will suffer. Lin Yu began to resent the marriage. But there is no way, I have no say in this matter at all, and there may be no change at all. Distracted, Lin Yu simply left the private room, ready to talk to the shopkeeper of the restaurant to see how the restaurant works. The shopkeeper of the restaurant is also the Lin family, and Lin Yu's uncle is still Lin Yu in terms of seniority. However, Lin Yu is the young master of the Lin family, and he is just the manager of the Lin family restaurant. The status gap between the two is not small. So when he saw Lin Yu, he was very respectful. "Uncle Chins, is there something urgent for you?" Lin Yu found that his uncle looked flustered, and something bad seemed to happen. "Master guessed right, I have an important matter to report to the master." "Oh? Tell me what's the matter first." Lin Yu's curiosity came. "This. Can't you tell me? I'm getting married soon." Upon hearing this, Lin Chins gritted his teeth and nodded and said, "Okay, then I'll talk to the young master first."